Hi guys, here we are. This is Basak.
Hey guys, we are here. This is Kate.
Hello.
Hello, my
Look
friend.
at
How are
the
you?
music keeps going.
What?
It keeps giving. The music keeps going. I love it.
Yeah, you love it? It went on a little long today. Never give up. Never give
Never give
up.
up. Never surrender.
Never
Well, by the
surrender.
way, that's our topic today. And I'm just so excited about this because, well, my husband is going to be our guest today,
Yes.
Jonathan. So I'm really excited to introduce him.
Mhm.
Um, Without further ado, Jonathan, could you please turn on your camera? Dum, da, dum, 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 dum.
Yay. Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me today.
Yes, here we are. So I'm going to make the introduction. And then I'm going to say why I think this is the perfect topic to discuss with Jonathan.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
So Jonathan Sonnenberg, his full name. He's the co-founder of School of Vibrational Healing, specialized in craniosacral and polarity therapies and counseling. Jonathan focuses on releasing the energetic blocks and trauma in the body by
Oh, you froze.
using energy, opening the emotional heart to allow one to connect with their own personal power within themselves and release physical and emotional pain. He provides tools to help people with any health. He offers private sessions, usually one-on-one. Used to be more in person. Nowadays, after COVID, more on the phone. And he also teaches some group classes twice a year, to be precise, and in our retreats. And he works with clients from all over the world. And he's been doing this over 40 years. Is that good, Jonathan? Is that makes sense?
Yes, excellent job. Thank you very much.
It's amazing.
Thanks.
Amazing. Amazing work that you do.
Yeah. So, I've been wanting to bring him to the podcast for a while, and I was contemplating on what would be the project because he could talk about so many things. But what really comes to me when I think of Jonathan is this attitude of never give up. He is someone really models that so well. And it starts with when I first met him, literally our first date, where we met at Lower East Side, no, Lower West Side actually, and at one of his friends' restaurant. He was late, and I am some. It's very important for me. Like I am not very tolerant. We talked about this last time. It really annoys me someone, especially I'm meeting on a date, right? So anyway, he comes in late, and then he gives me some excuses, and then he talks about tennis, which is his love, first love of life. And immediately, the beginning of the date, he's in the -0 numbers. And we think about that a lot later on, someone in his position with basically getting nothing from me and completely like starting from minus position could have given up, could have just not care about the date or not wanting to try. But of course, Jonathan won't do that. He did so, he really turned that date around and made it a magical date from something really not convenient for me. So that's like the first example I can give up. And there's so many examples we will talk about, but one of the recent ones from last year, he had a plantar fasciitis in his foot. And, he can't give up on tennis. There's no way. Plantar fasciitis is pretty difficult to overcome. It took him maybe 8 months to really overcome it, but he never give up working on it, therapy on it, going to gym, still playing on it. And he overcame that hurdle and he played even better than before. So this is just a very few examples I can think of him always persevering against anything that seems to be really not a great situation. So I thought, yeah, can you talk about this? And he said, yes, I will.
Well, after hearing that, Basak, my question for Jonathan is, Were you always like this, Jonathan, or is it something that you've developed over the years? Were you always tenacious like this?
I feel that I think from our upbringing, we weren't allowed to have excuses in life, and we always had to give every moment everything we had. And between our upbringing and also playing sports, in sports, winning is always important. And if you take sports into life, you just try to make life into a game.
Nice. And you're always trying to win, is that it?
Well, I'm trying not to take it too seriously. I don't know what kind of job I do with that, though.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was the upbringing? So is that your parents' ethos that you were, or what it?
Well, you see, I feel that my mother is part of like the whole World War II thing, and I feel that her life was incredibly difficult, but she never complained, and I feel she had tenacity, and I feel that we just kind of modeled it. We didn't really have a choice. That was the upbringing that we had.
Wow.
It was a very strict upbringing.
It was very strict.
It was as strict as you can possibly get. Yes.
Wow.
So my question is, why do you think people give up in life?
I feel people give up because they feel they have a choice. I feel that the emotional emptiness and the fear they have becomes so overwhelming that they don't see, they don't have the power, the willpower to keep on going. So they basically stop. And I never give myself that choice, and that's why I always continue.
And has there ever been a time though when you've sort of followed that path and you really reached the end where you're like, okay, I really have given it my all and now I need to change or move, change my objective or move?
No, like if something is not working in the way I wanted to, it always works, but maybe not in the same direction I wanted to. So, and again, I do my best not to follow my mind, because my mind is going to create the emotion. I've been doing my best to follow my heart and to try to find a sense of peace. And from the stillness and the peace, I continue, and that's kind of the rudder to my sailboat. I feel a lot of people, what they do is they go into their mind to look to their mind what they should do, and the mind will create so much panic and so much fear that they become almost frozen.
Yeah, that's amazing. So can I just give the scenario, say I was, pursuing something and it was just not working out. You're saying I should look within, or the way that you would do it is look within and check in with your feelings, check in with your heart, and then follow that path, not what the mind is telling me. Is that sort of a way of?
Well, you just have to be really clear about what your intention is for doing what you're doing. If your intention is based on a desire, it's a mind's intention to begin with. But hopefully your intention is more coming from your spirit, and then your spirit can basically guide you. And the only hard part is the guidance you're getting is so subtle, unless my mind is very quiet, unless I find the peace in the beginning of the day, it'd be impossible for me to find that guidance in that way.
Fascinating.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Can you share with us? I just shared some examples, but maybe one of the hardest challenges you've ever faced, and how did this attitude help you overcome it?
Well, I was kind of thinking about that, and I feel the hardest challenge I've ever faced is I've always wanted to become a lawyer, to make the family proud, because it just seemed like I would be a professional, making a lot of money, and I'd be having a certain status. And deciding to become a healer was so far removed from anything I've ever wanted to do. And in the beginning, when I first met my teacher, and the path is based on feeling, I didn't even feel anything, because I was so in my head, just trusting that I would be able to feel, and trusting starting, something from zero and healing something, creating a whole new way of healing that doesn't even exist, and trusting that was going to work, was difficult in the beginning. So many times I saw my friends becoming partners of firms, making all this money, and I was just trying to stay out of my mind and connect to the feelings and, feeling the air of my face and the smells. Nothing made sense at that time of my life.
Yeah, so this decision was not obviously a mind decision, because mind told you to go and pursue what everybody else was doing or what your conditioning was telling you to do. And you had to actually really trust yourself and your inner voice.
Yeah, in the beginning, when I started doing what I'm doing now, I would wake up in a cold sweat every night, just questioning, why are you trying to do this? This doesn't make sense. And this is a judgment, but it just feels so easy just having a 9 to 5, where every day you have something to do, and just starting something where there's no distractions, that you're trying to get in touch with your highest consciousness and change people's lives, seems kind of ridiculous, because at that point, this didn't exist at that time.
Yeah.
And so then
Yeah,
how
but
did you
you trusted that.
how did you develop your, so you found your teacher and then you had these doubts, but you kept persevering and you weren't going to give up. And was there a point where you suddenly reached a certain level where you were like, okay, now I'm not waking up and sweating every night because now I feel like the path is more clear? Was there a moment that you remember?
That took like a couple of years, actually. In the beginning, I would have to take a subway from Riverdale into the city, because I didn't think I could afford taking the Metro North or an express bus. And I wanted to save money by taking subways into the city. And I went all the way downtown, and I worked on my accountant at the time. And I thought this was funny. There was so much noise outside that I forgot. I used cassette tapes at that time. It was a long time ago. I didn't have any of my cassette tapes. I just used one they had in the studio, and it said Babbling Brook. And I put the Babbling Brook on just to take the noise away. But there were so many frogs on this Babbling Brook. This guy opened his eyes and he said, "What's going on here?" And I said, I am so sorry. Don't focus on the frogs. Please focus on the Babbling Brook. And so in the beginning, it was definitely hard, because, and then he said, "Remind me to tell you something when the session is over." And I would have to wake up so early to get to this 8 o'clock session that I guess there was a lot of acid in my stomach. And I said, "No, you can tell me now." And he said, "Well, your breath is killing me." So beside the frogs and the Babbling Brook, I was thinking, I don't even know why I'm even doing this anymore. This is just crazy. That was the beginning of my.
But you didn't stop.
No, I didn't stop. And then when the session was over, I went to the bathroom to wash my hands, and I came back, and his joke was, he made believe he was dead, so he had his eyes open, he wouldn't move. And it was such a terrible morning that I figured, okay, I just killed my first client. Thank you very much.
That's an auspicious beginning for sure.
So, but what advice would you give to someone who is on the verge of giving up?
You just have to find something in your life. You have to find that there's like an inner strength. And I feel the challenge only exists externally to force us to get in touch with that inner strength. Otherwise, everything would be working. If I didn't have all my challenges, I wouldn't be in the place I am right now, because I would just make everything work. But I feel the challenges connected me to something that was so incredibly deep that I'm actually grateful for all the challenges that I have. I don't think I answered your question, did I?
No, that's actually beautiful. It reminds me of, I think we talked about that, Queen Kunti from Bhagavad Gita, where she tells to Krishna please give me more and more turbulences and obstacles so I can always remember you. So it's kind of like that, remembering God, right? That's the same idea of remembering my inner self, my true self, with my qualities of strength, of perseverance, and everything that's included. So I think that's just so beautiful that you mentioned that. So if somebody is at a point in their life that I want to give up, and I've been seeing you in this, right? You work with people who are on the verge of a relationship crisis, on the verge of a health crisis, on the verge of a career or money crisis. So what do you say to them when they want to just give up? Because I also see you, well, I've been seeing you working with people who wants to actually kill themselves. So how do you work with those people?
Wow.
You know, I just connect the person to that energy in their life that's not connected to the emotional fear. And because the mind wants us to destroy ourselves, no matter how wealthy people are, no matter how great externally things are going, if life kept on going the way, life would be a farce. So life will give us obstacles to force us to go inside. And I just find the key to connect that, to connect the person to their highest essence that releases the imbalance, that releases whatever is happening externally. But then I ask them to kind of stay with that rather than with the external focus.
When you're working with people, Jonathan, can you tell, I mean, you must be able to, you can tell when they have touched that inner part of themselves. Is it something that you feel when they,
Yeah.
yeah.
See, in the beginning, the person has so much resistance to me, and I can tell that everything I'm saying is irritating them, but I can't take it personally because I know that it's not about me, it's their stuff. And I just try to find a path to get them in touch with something that's so profound, that's so deep, their highest consciousness. And then magically everything changes and they can feel that. And they think, God, what did this just do? And then they think that they're going to lose that, but I didn't give it to them. It's been part of them the whole time.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Amazing.
So then, I mean, I know your practices, your daily personal practices that helps you in this journey, obviously helps to heal others. Can you share some of that with us? How do you, what small daily practices can help someone build mental toughness over time?
Well, I think the hardest thing to do is for a person to get in touch with their five senses again, because we have five senses, but I think most people are in their mind so much, like they might go to an expensive restaurant, spend 15 minutes deciding what to eat, take the first few bites, and then they don't taste the food anymore. Or they go for a walk because they want to just take a break, but they're in their minds thinking about whatever they're taking a break from. So I'm just trying to get in touch with my five senses as much as I can. And there's so much resistance when I'm doing that every day that it's a practice. I just have to go beyond my stuff. Like I meditate as much as I can and I feel the resistance, but it's the only thing I really have to keep myself going.
But you're also a very physical active person. So how does that merge with this well-being, taking care of yourself?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I think my sessions are so incredibly intense that I try not to get involved with the person's stuff, but it's hard not to do that. So if I can go to the gym or if I can play tennis, if I can just release it, then my body kind of opens up. And if I don't do it, then I just feel heavy myself. And I'm not a nice person to be with. I'm sure Basak could let you know about that.
Been there,
Done
seen it.
that.
No, this is not true. I mean, I think 99% of the time, Jonathan is pretty much the way you see him, very calm and very considerate and very much in touch with what's happening with you and with himself. So no, that's rarely something that we experience, actually, I should say that. Yeah.
But,
Um,
but
yeah.
also, I look at tennis, like I don't really care about winning games. I look at tennis as being like a dance and an art form, that I try to dance on the court, and I try to have like the art of just being so relaxed that I can just like let go. So it's more of a meditation, more of like a yoga practice actually, than me just pushing the ball across the court to see how many points I can win, and trying to stay out of mind so my body can stay relaxed. So
Beautiful. It's a beautiful way of thinking about it. It's a beautiful way of approaching any kind of exercise you do. I mean, we do in yoga,
Or
this
life.
in life. Yeah, absolutely.
This is, can we be as relaxed in life, right? Just be in the moment and really cherish every moment to do it to our best of ability to live fully, right? And be curious. How can I, do it differently or better or whatever?
like when I work with professional golfers on tour, they already know how to play golf, you know. But when there's thousands of people watching them, and when they're on television, to stay so relaxed that they can do what they want to do and make that sound and keep that sound going, just keeping the mind out of it and playing with their heart. That's life, right? That's why we do life, and that's what we try to do in our lives, I feel.
I think you should work with Tommy Fleetwood. He could almost win, and he's just not getting there. I think you could take him over the edge if Tommy Fleetwood is listening.
Yes.
One of the people
That
you
was for
have
the
to.
golfers.
I see.
So,
Um,
go ahead. I have so many questions. You go ahead, Basak, though.
oh, please go ahead.
Well, so was it, I feel like you're so who you are. You're a very authentic person. And when I first met you, that was just so clear. Was there, was that a long process, do you think? It was part of this whole learning process for you to be who you are, not care about what people thought, and just, is that something that you always were, or has that come as you have developed this practice and this healing?
Well, I just feel that everyone's going to judge us no matter what, because that's what people do. And I feel the only way we can take their judgments personally is if we're in our minds. But if we're in our heart, we can actually feel the person's pain and we can have compassion for them. So if I can feel the person's pain, if I have compassion for the person's life, then I just try to connect to peace and just embrace them and not take their judgments personally.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah. Wow.
So, what do you say one word that could describe your attitude when things get tough? Because things get tough for everybody, including you, time to time.
Right. I would have to say no excuses. I just have to continue, and I will always make everything work. I know I can make everything work, and that feeling is always in my life. And when it works, I don't even care. So I'm not making things work so I can improve of myself, just because whatever little time I have here, I will make everything work.
So I have to ask you, so what does that mean, make everything work?
That means that like I have an intention of just creating harmony in everything that I do, that feeling of harmony. So when I work with people, that's people just really want to feel harmony and peace within themselves. That's it, bottom line. If there's a physical and emotional balance, you know, they just want to feel peace. And so a person can actually spend 2 years getting ready to do a wedding. The day of the wedding, they're so nervous they have to watch the video to see what happened. And I just don't want to miss life. I just don't want to look back at it and say I missed it because I cared so much about what other people were thinking, or I tried to make it work so much. But I just want to be present with my heart. Be present with my heart's your answer. My answer.
Yeah, I love it.
Nice.
I love it. It's just, it's sort of turning it upside down about why we do things too, You have to, your intention is not to win the game, as you're saying. Your intention is to play with peace and play with harmony and love. You're playing the game.
Exactly. Like when I'm with people, I can feel people's stuff, but I will never judge anybody for their stuff, because then it's going to come back to me. So I just want to put out the energy that I want to receive. So I just want to embrace everything with my heart and keep my heart open, which is hard to do because my heart wants to look for excuses to protect myself. So I think that's my highest intention to answer your question from before.
And I know that you have probably people that inspired you when it comes to perseverance. Is there anybody that comes to mind?
It's going to be like a sports thing, you know,
Of course.
because sports inspires me. Because I know that people are trying as hard as they possibly can, and unfortunately, one team has to win, and some team has to lose. So years ago, Joe Montana was the quarterback for the 49ers, and they were down by 2 touchdowns with just a few minutes to go, and he's in the huddle, and the other players want to know, like, what is he going to say? And he said, "Let's just win this thing," with so much confidence. They actually won the game because they believed his words, you know. And so whatever I say has to come from that positive feeling of let's make this work, not we tried our hardest and I'm sorry it didn't work out. That would never be a possibility.
I love that. Let's win this thing. Not like you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. Let's just win this thing.
And they won, though.
And they won.
They won. And if you have a life, let's just win this thing before we go into the thing, have that as an intention, but not try to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
Our heart's not part of it.
Right. Because the idea is not really the winning the thing. It's the idea is whatever that winning might give you as a feeling.
Right, because you can win and feel so totally empty because winning meant so much to you, but like winning doesn't really matter in terms of life. Like, who cares? Like when this trip is over, you look back at your life. What challenges did you overcome? Like, when did you not give up? You know, was your heart open, or did you protect your heart because you were scared about there were judgments? You know?
So, and winning is you can equate it, what we say is, successful, right? What is being successful? What is winning?
Right. I mean, I have clients that are billionaires, and they're looking for the same peace of mind. So if we can just be present, and if we can actually have an experience with our heart, I think that's actually winning in this lifetime. You know, no matter what path you have, it doesn't really matter. You know, and it takes courage to feel, because it's just so easy to protect ourselves and just be in our heads and try to make believe we're feeling. It takes practice feeling in this world.
So for someone who's trying to develop that courage, what would your advice be?
Well, you can't have that as an intention, because courage is just the effect after making a lot of causes. But just being present and not really caring about the end result as much as the process of getting there, because it's always going to work, because this whole thing is an illusion anyway. This whole thing is just energy, and it's reflecting the vibration of our life. So if our heart's open, if we're feeling a sense of peace and we're just taking action, we will have the courage to just keep on going. It's just so easy to stop. And if I ever stopped doing anything, I think I'd be disgusted with myself. Yes.
I can't even imagine that day, actually.
No.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So any last words, Jonathan? Because if, believe it or not, we are on time. Like, this time goes so fast. Any last words for our listeners? Any advice on not giving up in their lives?
Yeah, I feel that the only thing that can really be a golden memory in our life are the things we overcame. And if we can just see that as something beautiful, rather than worrying about it and just being kind of in our mind feeling disappointed that life is doing this to us, and just having that positive attitude and just taking steps and feeling good about ourselves, it's impossible not to have a beautiful life.
So I love that you're saying, let's be our best friend, not the worst enemy. How yogic of you.
You guys speak different languages, but say the same thing.
Yes, that's exactly right.
It's beautiful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for giving us your time in a busy day. Is always busy, always working. So I'm really
Yes.
excited that you get to visit us today.
And maybe you'll come back to talk again.
I appreciate you guys. You guys are wonderful. And thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Should we do our
Let's,
altar music?
yes, let's dance our way into the rest of our day. Maybe.
Thank you guys for listening.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye, Kate. Bye, Jonathan.
Bye, Jonathan. Bye, Basak.
Bye.